but the incidents that Mr. Camp has been talking about, the disclosure, what years were those, Mr. Miller?
Again, sir, I apologize for not having the date at hand. They have been a couple of years now, I believe.
A couple of years. Who was the commissioner at that time?
I believe it was Mr. Shulman.
Who appointed Mr. Shulman?
Mr. Bush.
All right, let me start with two key issues. There's no question about the inappropriate criteria. I want to focus on that. But let me first ask right up front, if I might. Mr. Russell, during the course of your audit, were you allowed access to everyone you requested to interview?
To my knowledge, we were not denied access to anyone.
Did you interview employees in both Cincinnati and in D.C.?
Correct. Yes, we did, sir.
On page 7, Mr. George, of the IG report, it states, and I quote, "All of these individuals stated that the criteria were not influenced by any individual or organization outside the IRS." Is that correct?
That is the information that we received. Correct, sir.
Did you find any evidence of political motivation in the selection of the tax exemption applications?
We did not, sir.
Mr. Miller, during your review of this matter, you indicated when you started it, did you find any evidence of political motivation on the part of employees involved in processing the applications at issue?
We did not, sir.
If we could put on the screen the organizational chart, is that possible from the report? Someone going to do that?
I have it there somewhere, Russell.
It's called High-Level Organizational Report.
Thank you.
Mr. Miller, in 2010, the inappropriate criteria that singled out applications for tax-exempt status by name was developed by what office?
It would be developed by an office that actually is not on here, but is on page 2 of this, is under Lois Lerner's jurisdiction.
And where are those employees located?
For the most part, they are located in Cincinnati. There's about 140 folks who do this sort of work in Cincinnati. There are a handful of people around the country that report into Cincinnati as well.
In 2011, the report finds that the Director of Exempt Organizations, EO on this chart, and I'm afraid it's not on the screen yet, this is Ms. Lerner's position, became aware of the inappropriate criteria. She ordered the criteria changed, and it was changed in 2011 to no longer refer by name Tea Party or Patriot. Mr. George, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Mr. Miller, as then deputy, were you aware of the problem with the criteria in June and July of 2011?
I was not, sir.
In January 2012, the criteria were changed again to, and I quote, "organizations involved in limiting, expanding government, educating on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and social economic reform movement." The IG's report indicates that this change was again made in the Cincinnati Determinations Office without executive approval. Mr. George, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
It was changed without executive approval?
That is our understanding.
The May 2012 criteria are in place today. It states organizations with indicators of significant amounts of political campaign intervention. The IG report states that, in quotes, it more clearly focuses on the activities permitted under the Treasury regulations. Mr. George, is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
I have no further. My time is up.
All right. At this time, I'll yield.